Rather have unlimited bacon, but no more games, or games, unlimited games, and no games.
Completely incomprehensible. That was so nothing.
What?
That was absolutely
You rather
nothing.
have unlimited bacon,
You don't know what you're talking about.
unlimited bacon.
You are off the
is
God. Daddy. Move. Get out of the way.
I'm back. Having lots of games to play, but no games to play. What's up with that? Does it come from boredom? A desire to feel the childlike wonder we lost because of taxes and living past the age of 20? You pick up a game just to immediately put it down without playing more than 10 minutes. You want to play video games. That much is clear. But you don't want to play any of the games you currently have. Or maybe there aren't any that you even want to buy. Or a different situation where you buy a new game, but you let it sit in your backlog and you never play it. Why is that? You wanted to play that game. It looked good, had good reviews, but for some reason, you just don't. Now, I'm not exactly a fan of JSchlatt, not that I dislike him, I just don't watch his content. But I have seen this meme floating around, and I gotta say, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I'm not entirely familiar with how far the meme has gone, or really anything else about it, except for the fact that it's like way over a year old. I'm not part of the culture, so feel free to roast me alive if I'm wasting everyone's time and saying something stupid and outdated. But I have a slightly different interpretation of this would you rather, and I'm not sure if anyone else has thought of this. And I don't know, if JSchlatt himself descends from the heavens and says that this interpretation is 100% wrong and isn't true to the spirit of the question, meme, whatever, then so be it. Dislike it to hell! I'm just wrong, and I'll crawl back into my obscure YouTube hole. So, I posit that having games, unlimited games, but no games is not a net zero. In fact, the way I see it, there are people out there in the real world who are already living this. They already have it chosen for them. Huh? Huh? You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? Yeah, you do. It's not like they have unlimited bacon. I think that having games, unlimited games, but no games, is just that moment where you want to play something, but there's nothing you want to play. Which is very true to the real world. Look at Steam. Look at Epic Games. Look at actually no, don't look at the EA app or Ubisoft Connect. But you can look at the app stores for consoles. Those are fine. Hell, we even have Itch.io and GameJolt and other indie sites where there are no regulations. In this day and age, we truly have games. Unlimited games. I have been following the development of the fan game Undertale Yellow for 8 years. I have it. It's free. It's on my desktop. And yet, I've only played through maybe a fourth of it. I was so excited, man. Seeing all the updates, seeing the OSTs posted on YouTube, watching the trailer. I was ready for more Undertale that was faithful to the source material. But now that the game is out, I just can't get myself to sit down and play it for more than a few minutes at a time. Unlike Undertale and Deltarune, which I played in pretty much a day or two. I'm finding myself almost trying to rush through it so that I can be done as quickly as possible. I want to be able to say that I beat it without actually having to play through it. There are actually a bunch of games in my library that have received the same treatment from me. I got them because people said they were good and I wanted to play them, but every time I did, it felt like I was forcing myself to, and not because I wanted to. Instead, I'm falling back on stupid games that I hate, like Apex Legends, which makes me want to get on the apex of a ledge and end myself. I think there are several possible reasons for this phenomena, some of which I've already described in previous videos. The first of which being the fact that you are limiting yourself in some way and it's boring you. Be it that you always play games of a similar genre, or you only play games one way and don't experiment or try new things.
Welcome to your yearly playthrough of Skyrim, sir. What build will you be trying today?
Yeah, I think I'll do a mage who focuses on concentration and illusion. I've never really used those abilities before.
Nice choice, sir. That'll really mix up the... What are you doing?
Yeah, sorry, I made a stealth archer again.
If you want to hear me go a little deeper into this topic, you can watch this video here. It's pretty good, it's informative, it's got funnies. I'm proud of it. Sometimes even games you are guaranteed to enjoy can lose the draw they had when you first heard about them. Be it overexposure or just the passage of time, you could simply lose interest. In other cases, your interest wasn't even that high to begin with. Your friend really wants you to get this game because they swear, OMG, it's like so fun, right? You're playing with your friends, right? You're in a little crew, right? And then you guys go down to like this planet, and like on the planet there's like bugs and there's like enemies and stuff, right? And you gotta fight them, right? You gotta shoot at them with your gun, or if you don't have a gun, you gotta whack him with your shovel, right? And so then when you're on the planet, you gotta pick up the things, and when you pick up these things, what you can do is you can sell them and get money and buy new things, or you can use them to craft. And when you craft, like you put the thing, you can get new stuff by crafting, and sometimes crafting's better than selling it, but like you don't have to, right? And you can hold on to it for like a cooler price later down the line, and like it's really fun, dude, really fun. It's only $30, bro. It's only $30. Get it. Me and everyone else we're all playing it right now. We're playing it right now as I'm talking to you. Like actually get the game, please get the game right now. Or it's just a game that you see clip after clip of the same thing happening, and it's the same music in the background and the same punchline, and the algorithm's like, no, wait, no, this one is even funnier, dude. This one is even funnier, bro. You gotta watch this one. Actually, wait, swipe up one more time. This is the one, dude. And you're just like, dude, stop. Your game's gonna be dead in a week anyway. And they say that a hero can save us. Once you feel like you've seen everything a game has to offer, there's no reason to play it. All the funny stuff's already on the internet. They're freaking modding it already, and the game's only been out for 3 days. Freaking no-life streamers? This doesn't really happen to me, at least not in any specific case that I could think of, but I know it does happen to people. If a game has run its course through social media and is deemed by its community the dreaded term, dead game, it can be a big deterrent. Of course, you can always find fun in a game, especially after it's run its course. You just gotta get to it yourself and not let the haters tell you that you shouldn't play it. Unless it's a game that requires multiplayer, in which case at that point, I'm sorry, you just straight up missed out. We've all been there. You finally managed to convince your parents to get you the Game Sphere for your birthday or Christmas, or the first time using the potty by yourself. Through the use of crying, pissing your pants, and Microsoft PowerPoint, you now have the power to play all those games you've been dying to play. Oh, but wait, you actually need to own those games in order to play them, not just the console. Good thing your parents thought of that. You are now the proud owner of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, the video game, and American Chopper 2 Full Throttle. I don't know what you're talking about, bad game. I don't see a bad game here. This look a bad game to you? Does this look a bad game to you? It's a pretty bad game. To the untrained and ungrateful eye, this would seem like the most indescribable injustice. Bad video games? Why, that's unheard of. Get some friggin' taste, Mom! Jeez! This is a house with class! But to those who had to grow up with Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, the video game on PS2, and a racing game that we could never play because it was on GameCube, this might actually be a blessing in disguise. Having a limited library actually forces you to play games that you wouldn't otherwise. You might be finding yourself not knowing what to play because you have so many choices. You're supposed to play the games, you dingus, not collect them. They're freaking digital now. You can't put an icon on a shelf, silly. You can't. What are you talking? Little icon, little game. You can't do that. It can bring a sense of FOMO in a weird way. The sheer amount of options can be overwhelming and actually push you away from playing for fear of missing out on something else, or just to avoid having to make a choice. Plus, by putting your backlog in this context, you're starting out at a disadvantage by setting these games on what is essentially a to-do list. A long, stupid waste of time to-do list. But hey, if you have a PS5, you're doing just fine in this area. I hope you guys are putting hundreds of hours into the 4 games you've gotten over the last 4 years. I discovered that the reason that I wasn't able to play these games was that it felt like a chore to me. Sure, there was a part that wanted to play these games, but in the end it was ultimately just so that I could say that I had played them. These are the best games of all time, and every gamer should play it at some point, and if you don't, you're a And I did your mom. Knowing that these games are highly praised classics, or that I put so much excitement behind their release, makes it feel like I owe it to myself and the game to play them, even if I'm not fully interested anymore. Sometimes even a great game is just not your style of game, and that's okay. You're allowed to lose interest in playing certain games. You're not required to play anything beyond what you like and what you find fun. So to everyone out there who has games, unlimited games, but no games, you really should have picked the unlimited bacon. That is clearly the better option. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you liked the video. I'm sorry it took so long to come out, but here it is. I'm glad it's out. We're back in the swing of things. Moving sucks, and I hate it. It is not worth it. Actually, it is worth it. Being in a new place is a lot of fun, and I really like where we're at now. But it's just the whole process. It's so expensive, and there's so much to do. But I'm not going to spend any time complaining about that. Just know that I'm back. We're back in the flow of things. We're making videos. It's going to be great. This was a bit of a shorter one because I needed a quick turnaround. But now we're going to get back to like longer stuff. I'm going to be talking about, bigger topics. Speaking of those topics, video suggestions, I'll take them in the comments. And speaking of the comments, I want to know if you guys feel this struggle. Do you feel like you sit down to play games and you just don't want to play them, or like there's nothing you want to play, or maybe your backlog is so big that you just feel overwhelmed and don't even want to play anything? Let me know what you think, because it's something I've definitely experienced. One of the other things that I found that I actually just thought of was that I don't always want to play games by myself. Like, if I'm playing a game by myself, even a single player one, I'll only play it for maybe an hour or two. Like, I really want to play games with friends. Like, I really want to play like Apex and Helldivers and Lethal Company, like all these games. I love playing them with friends. That's just what keeps me going. And I think it's the social aspect that now that I'm older, I really care about and I really like, more than just the video game part. But yeah, no, that's how I feel. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, if you really like the video, subscribe. More is coming. We're close to 1,000, and I really want to get us there. We're so close. We're at like 800 something right now, and we're right there. We're right there, guys. I'm so excited. So let's keep going up. Share the video, whatever, man. Keep doing stuff. And if you'll excuse me, democracy needs me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.